So in Wheatstone bridge, if the bridge is being balanced, remember that bridge will be balanced if and only if the ratio of the resistors connected over here P by Q is numerically equal to R by S, then only bridge is balanced. If bridge is balanced, current in the galvanometer is 0. It means that potential at B and potential at D are equal. If potential at B and potential at D are equal, then there will be no current flowing through BD. Therefore, the component which you are connecting in between B and D is useless. So as it is useless, I can just remove that component. If I remove that component, the effective circuit become this part, A and B. Now P and Q are in series, R and S are in series. So therefore, what is the effective here? P plus Q. And what is the effective here? R plus S. So R equivalent can be simply written as P plus Q into R plus S divided by P plus Q plus R plus S. This is the equivalent resistance of the resistors which are connected over there if Wheatstone bridge is balanced. So whenever Wheatstone bridge is balanced, then in such case directly you can use this relation. P plus Q into R plus S divided by P plus Q plus R plus S gives you equivalent resistance of the whole circuit when bridge is balanced. If and only if bridge is balanced, remember that condition. If bridge is not balanced, then you cannot use this expression. So this part is only if bridge is balanced. Only if bridge is balanced, then you can use this condition. Identical circuits, like for the Wheatstone bridge, these circuits are identical. This is one form and this is the other form. In the first form, you can eliminate this galvanometer and the effective is PQRS. And in the second form, you can eliminate this PQRS as the four resistors which are connected over there. So simply you can eliminate that particular middle resistor if bridge is balanced. These are the other forms of Wheatstone bridge. Bridge is not balanced. P by Q is not equal to R by S. Then in such cases, potential at B is not equal to potential at D. Both potentials are not equal. If potentials are not equal, then in such cases, if potentials are not equal, then current Ig is not equal to 0. If current Ig is not equal to 0, that means current flow either from B to D or D to B. So it can be either from B to D or D to B. Any of these can be possible depending upon the resistors which are connected over there, P, Q, R and S. So based on these resistor values, potential at B may be greater or potential at D may be greater. Based on that, if VB is greater than VD, then in such cases current will be flowing in downward direction. If D is greater than B, then in such cases current will be going upward from D to B current flow. So you can check that whether VB is greater or VD is greater. So I want to find out, whether B is greater or D is greater. So in such cases, what I'll do, I'll use this. VAB is equal to VA minus VB. Is it not? So just I'll be taking these 2 points, A and B. VAB is equal to VA minus VB. And VAB is equal to IR. Is it not? V is equal to IR. What is I? Current flowing in this is I1. and the resistance is P. Okay, I want to now find out this I1, and if I substitute that here, so that you will be getting VAB. So VAB is equal to VA minus VB. This is I1 into P, right? Now, as we know, whenever the current I comes over here, it get divided into two parts, I1 and I2, right? So from here you can write I1, which is being divided at this point, at this nodal point. See here, at the nodal point, at this nodal point, when it is coming, when I current comes over here, it get divided into two parts. One part it is I1 and the other part it is I2. Okay. Now you can write down I1 as I1 can be written as its opposite resistor. Like for example, you have resistors in this way. Check it out. This is I current. Resistor here is P plus Q. Resistor here is R plus S. Suppose if current flowing here is I1 and current flowing here is I2, then in such cases, how do you write I1? I1 can be simply written as R plus S divided by P plus Q plus R plus S. So I1 is equal to R plus S divided by P plus Q plus R plus S. Similarly, I2 can be written as P plus Q divided by P plus Q plus R plus S. This we have already learned in the basics of resistors. Now take this I1 and substitute over there. If I substitute that here in this expression, VAB, that is VA minus VB, is equal to I1 R plus S into P divided by P plus Q plus R plus S. That is VAB. So value of VAB we have got it. Now let us check VAD. VAD is equal to VA minus VD. VA minus VD is equal to I2 into R. But what is I2? I2 we have already written here. So VA minus VD is equal to, I2 can be written as P plus Q divided by P plus Q plus R plus S into P. Sorry, R. So that is I2. I2 just I have substituted here, and this is R. That is VA minus VD. Okay. I want to now find out whether B is greater or D is greater. So what I do, simply I'll use this VAB minus VAD. This gives you, what is VAB? It is VA minus VB. Next, minus VA plus VD. This and this gets cancelled. What is left over here? VD or minus VB plus VD, which is equal to, you can just use these relations here. VAB we have got and VBD we have got. You can just substitute those expressions here. What do you get? R plus S into P minus of P plus Q into R divided by P plus Q plus R plus S. Okay. Clearly, in this expression, you can understand, if suppose you are being given these resistors P, Q, R and S, all those values are known, because in the problem itself they will be giving you the resistor values. So clearly, if R plus S into P is greater than P plus Q into R, then in such case this will be positive. So as it is positive, this is positive value. So it is minus VB plus VD, or you can write it as VD minus VB. So VD minus VB is positive. VD minus VB is positive in the sense potential at D is greater than potential at B. As a result, IG will be upward. Suppose if VD minus VB is negative, then in such case B is greater than that of D. As a result, IG will be downward. Clear? So depending upon the value of the resistors which are connected over here, P, Q, R and S, you can just substitute those values P, Q, R, S in this expression, final expression, and you can check whether potential B is greater or potential D is greater. If B is greater, current flow in downward direction. If D is greater, current flow in upward direction. As current is flowing through the galvanometer, you cannot eliminate that galvanometer. It will be remained in the circuit. So if bridge is not balanced, you cannot eliminate the middle resistor. In such case, we will be using Kirchhoff laws and we will be solving I1, I2, I3, I4 individually. You need to find them separately. That is a little bit lengthy process than that of balanced condition. So one small thing I have forgot to write. This is I. Here there will be I. I1 is equal to R plus S divided by P plus Q plus R plus S into I. I will be remained as it is. So here also you will be getting I. Here also you will be getting I. And here also you will be getting I. Yes. So everywhere you need to include that I. Yes, students, let us solve one problem based on unbalanced condition of Wheatstone bridge. So if bridge is balanced, then solving that problem is very easy. But if bridge is not balanced, in such cases, you need to use Kirchhoff laws and you need to solve that problem. So whenever bridge is not balanced, in this case, you can check the condition. P by Q is not equal to R by S. Because P by Q, it is 10 divided by 5 and this is not equal to 10 by 5. So it is unbalanced condition. Bridge is not balanced. If bridge is not balanced, then in such cases you will be applying Kirchhoff voltage law for loop using Kirchhoff voltage law. We solve for currents. Now let us take one loop. For loop A, B, D, A. So if at all for loop A, B, D, A, like start from here, A, B, D, A, I am considering that I1 is current flowing here and IG is current coming over here. So I can simply write it as AB. For loop ABDA, it is minus 10 I1 and you do not know whether potential at B or potential at D is greater. You do not know that. So I am considering that current is coming in downward direction and IG is in downward direction. So therefore here minus 5 IG plus 5 R is equal to 0. This is for loop ABDA. Next, you can use IG as, you can use KVL, sorry, using KCL. You can write down I is equal to I1 plus I2 at A, and you can write I1 is equal to I3 plus IG at B. So IG can be simply written as I1 minus I3. Take this as equation number 1. Take this as equation number 2. Take that 2 and substitute in equation 1. And I'm sorry, here it is not 5R, that is 5I2. This is I2. Okay, this is I2. So IJ I am eliminating, I am writing it as I1 minus I3. So simply you can use this using 2 in 1. You can write minus 10 I1 minus 5 I1 plus 5 I3 plus 5 I2 is equal to 0. Minus 10 I1 minus 5 I1 minus 15 I1 plus 5 I3 plus 5 I2 is equal to 0. Okay. So this is what equation number 1. Three unknowns we have, I1, I2 and I3. Next, take another loop. Take one more loop. For loop, take one more loop, BCDB. You can take BCDB or you can take loop ADCE. Like you can take this bigger loop or smaller loop. We have three loops in order to solve those three, I1, I2 and I3. So I will be taking this loop BCD, BCDB. Start from here B. So that is minus I3 into 5 plus 10 into I4 and plus 5 into Ig is equal to 0. Ig is already known to you. You can just substitute I1 and I3 over there. Minus 5 I3 plus 10 I4 plus 5 into Ig is I1 minus 5 I3 is equal to 0. This gives you minus 10 I3 plus 10 I4 plus 5 I1 is equal to 0. Right? We have got one more expression. This equation I am considering it as 3. This equation I am considering it as 4. Now take another loop. For loop ADCA, start from here. You are going this bigger. You are taking this bigger loop. From here you can write down. Start from A. You can write it as minus 5 I2 minus 10 I4 plus 10 V is equal to 0. Right? So this gives you minus 5 I2 minus 10 I4 plus 10 volt is equal to 0. You have got one more equation, number 5. Right? So we have equations. This is number 3, number 4 and number 5. So three unknowns are there. We have got three equations here. For three unknowns, we have three KVL equations. Solving three KVL equation, we get currents I1, I2, I3 and I4. You can just get it all the currents by solving these expressions. So this is the way, but it is little bit lengthy. When you are using Kirchhoff voltage law, this is by traditional method where we will be using Kirchhoff voltage law and current law in order to solve unbalanced Wheatstone bridge conditions. But there are few techniques we can use in order to solve such type of unbalanced Wheatstone bridges. I will be teaching you that now. But this is the general method where we will be using Kirchhoff laws and we will solve unknown currents in the circuit. So whenever unbalanced bridge is being given to you, in such cases you will be using this kind of star to delta or delta to star conversion. This is what here I have written, delta to triangle or triangle to delta. So don't worry about it. See, what you do is you will just convert this to three resistors like this. You can replace R1, R5, R4 with these three resistors. Likewise, you can replace these three resistors R2, R3, R5 can be replaced with this resistors. Okay, this is called delta to star or star to delta. So I don't want to confuse you. Write it as star to delta, delta to star or star to delta. So this is star to delta conversion or delta to star conversion. So we will be now seeing how to convert this. So there is formula for this. I'll just teach you formula. Derivation of that formula is not necessary for us. That is a simple technique we can use to solve the problem. This is delta. The potentials of delta is X, Y and Z. X, Y and Z. These are the three potential points. See, same potential is there here, X, same potential is there here, Y, same potential is there here, Z. Okay. Now, the delta can be converted into star method like this. Simply, you will be writing a star in middle of the delta. I name this as R1. I name this as R3. I name this as R2. R2. Okay. Now, just I want to write down R1. R1 is equal to, if I want to write R1, R1 is in between RB and RC. Okay. So R1, it is in between RB and RC. Therefore, I'll write it as R1 is equal to RB, RC divided by all the resistors. RA plus RB plus RC. R1 you have got. Next, R2. R2 is in between RA and RC. So simply write it as RA, RC divided by RA plus RB plus RC. Next, R3 I want to find out. R3 will be equal to, R3 is in between B and A, RA and RB. So I will be writing it as RA, RB divided by RA plus RB plus RC. So you will be getting R1, R2 and R3. That means delta is converted to star by using this star method. You can find out the effective unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Right? So R1, R2, R3. You can write just by using this. This is how delta is converted to star. But sometimes you can convert, like star will be given to you. You can convert it into delta. So whenever you want to find convert star to delta, this is a star, you need to just write a delta here. Okay. Now this is RA, this is RB and this is RC. Right? RA, RB, RC. So as a star is being given, just you replace that star with delta by writing these resistors RA, RB and RC. First I want to find out RA. Okay. So I want to find out RA. So how I will write RA? RA is equal to, RA is here. This is RA. Right? So when you are writing RA, you will be just starting from any resistor like R1, R2 or R2, R3 or R3, R1, like vice versa. But you need to take it cyclic. So RA will be equal to R1, R2 plus R2, R3 plus R3, R1 divided by, for RA, there is one opposite resistor immediately, that is R1, right? So in denominator, just take it R1. Next, I want to find out RB. RB is equal to, take numerator will be same as it is for all. R1, R2 plus R2, R3 plus R3, R1 divided by RB opposite resistor is R2. Just I will write it in the denominator R2. Now come to RC. RC is equal to, numerator will be same as it is. R1, R2 plus R2, R3 plus R3, R1 divided by RC opposite vector is R3. That I will write it here in the denominator. Right? This is star to delta. And this is delta to star. So this is the way you can convert star to delta and delta to star based on the condition in the problem. You can use any of these conversions to solve that particular problem. So we have one unbalanced Wheatstone bridge with resistors 1, 2, 3 and 4. And this Wheatstone bridge, like each part is triangle, like a delta. I have converted it to star by using resistors R1, R2 and R3 here. And these resistors I have converted it into star R4, R5, R6. So simply these white color resistors will be remained in between A and B. Now R1, R4 are in series, R3, R6 is in series. These two series, and overall this is connected in parallel, and overall they are connected in series. Now I want to find out R1. So how do you write R1? R1 is equal to these two resistors, 1 into 5 divided by 1 plus 5 plus 4. How do you write R2? R2 is 1 into 4 divided by 1 plus 5 plus 4. Next R3. R3 is equal to 5 into 4 divided by 1 plus 5 plus 4. R1, R2, R3 values we have got. Next you can write down R4. R4 is equal to 5 into 2 divided by 5 plus 2 plus 3. And R5 is equal to 3 into 2 divided by 5 plus 2 plus 3. R6 is equal to R6 is in between 5 and 3. So 5 into 3 divided by 5 plus 2 plus 3. Right? All the values are known. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, all the values of the resistors are known. Now you can just substitute all these values here, and finally you can find out the effective resistance between A and B. This is the reduced form of Wheatstone bridge. So one is using Kirchhoff laws, we can find out unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Second method is delta to star conversion. We can solve unbalanced Wheatstone bridge by delta to star conversion. And the third method is a sigma method, and this is very easiest method. I'll tell you how it is. Very simple. So this is like unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Q by P is not equal to R by S. Unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Okay. So in this unbalanced Wheatstone bridge, in order to solve this problem, what I'll do, I'll just write this in the form of sigma. Okay. So what is this symbol called? This is called sigma. Okay. This symbol is sigma, right? So what did I do? Using this P, Q, T, R and S, I have just drawn one resistor. Start from first resistor, PQ. R equivalent is equal to PQ. Start from here, P2Q. Next to Q2T plus QT. Next T2R, TR plus. Next R2S divided by Q plus T plus R. Sorry, P plus Q plus T plus R plus S. This is the effective method, sigma method. You can reduce the resistors into this form. Okay. Let me clarify. I have one small doubt here. In the denominator, what you are taking, that is wrong. Actually, I have made one small mistake. See here. So PQ, QT, TR and RS, that is numerator. In denominator, start from Q. Q plus T plus T plus R. So that is Q, T, again T and R. So it is QT and TR. So Q plus T plus T plus R. This gives you equivalent resistance of the circuit, and this is the easiest method to solve unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. But don't get confused with this. So if you solve like 3 or 4 problems using this method, this it will be habituated to you, or else you will be mistaken, just like how I have made a mistake in the denominator. You will be mistaken there. So try to attempt 4 or 5 questions in this sigma method. Simply start from here. PQ, QT, TR, RS. PQ plus QT plus TR plus RS. And in the denominator, start from Q. QT and T plus R. Q plus T plus T plus R. That gives you the effective equivalent of unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. So this is an unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. So in an unbalanced Wheatstone bridge, you need to just go, you should start from here, sigma. Start from here 1, 2, next 2, 3, next 3, 4, and next 4, 5. That is sigma, right? So R equivalent will be equal to 1 into 2 plus 2 into 3 plus 3 into 4 plus 4 into 5 divided by, start from here 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. This gives you the final equivalent resistance. So 1 into 2 is 2 plus 6 plus 12 plus 20 divided by 10, 12. This will be final equivalent resistance. Oh, it is for 40 now. This is 40 divided by 12 ohm. This is the final answer.